This is where the fun begins.
And now we must leave our roles as master and student. It is time we became brothers.
Master?
Are you sure? So be it. Did you miss me?
Well, hello everyone, and you can't be a Thursday morning without some technical difficulties on my end. Whether I announce it or not, there's always something going on, but I am here with you guys. We had some rainstorms going through last night, so my internet is feeling or being a bitch right now. Yep. I'm frustrated with it, but here we are. How are you guys doing this morning? And welcome to Caf Chat on my channel, OG Stores. I am your host, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. And, you know, look at wearing my glasses here. I have these blue screen protector glasses that I am using as a theme as well with my avatar character here. Let me show her real quick before I get to the chat. Come on, load up. You could do it. I'm telling you, like this. So there you go. So I thought I'd give you guys a laugh too as well. So I am glad to be here with you guys as always. And if you are joining, please hit that like button and share that we are live. And if you are catching the replay, thank you so much for coming back, watching, participating, and let me know you here in the chat. Leave any comments from the conversations that we are having here today regarding Smuggler lore and other things, among other things. Excuse me. But most of all, what's in your mug? What are you enjoying? This is my coffee, of course, Caf. And I have a little bit of peppermint mocha creamer in here with a little bit of sugar-free sweetener. I'm just trying to stay up with my my plan and my goals of staying fit and healthy, and that calendar photo shoot that's coming up in less than a month. Holy heck, I'm so excited about that. But we're out. Fucking internet. Anyways, so here we go. Let's see who's in the chat, and we'll get into famous artist who was responsible for some of Lucasfilm's posters. All right. So let's go ahead and see who's here. I may not be able to highlight you guys because, oh, here we go. It's like showing, but it isn't. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm just having a difficult time here. Here we go. So Sandrock here. I really wish people would stop using the word cringe. Well, I'm sorry. That's portion of my program is cringe. Actually, I'm not sorry, but the portion of my my program is called Cringe Factor. And that's the reason for why it's called Cringe Factor, because, you know, the expression of cringe and the feeling and the vibes and whatever it gives you of cringe, Darth Phantom, cheers to you. Good morning. And also, Sandra, glad to have you with us. Just stopped by to say hello, Laura. I'll catch replay of the stream later. Well, cheers to you for coming in and leaving a comment. And you did leave a 2-month member chat here. Thank you so much for your continued support. What EU books do you suggest should be read first? That all depends on where in the timeline you are interested in. I really need to do this, but I'm going to talk about it right now, and we'll get into pay and respect. So, and then I'm going to talk about an EU book or recommend an EU book for read. However, I might just base it upon, well, you're not here to answer my question, at least not right now. So with that being said, depending on the era, there you go. I said it right the first time. It just didn't sound right to me. Depending on where you want to start and where is your favorite timelines in, like if you like the Old Republic, if you like the PT or the end of the Old Republic, if you like the dark times, which lead into the OT. So if you like that time, if you like that time frame, then I will suggest a book or a trilogy. If you like the New Republic era, then I would talk with you and suggest where to start there. If you like the New Jedi Order era, then of course you'd start with Vector Prime. If you like Legacy era, then you could say Darkness Trilogy is the ending of the New Jedi Order or the beginning of the Legacy. But when you look at the timeline, Darkness Trilogy is the ending of the New Jedi Order era. So there you go. So depending on where your interest lies within the Star Wars timeline, it's huge and vast, is what I would recommend. So there you go. There's that. Thank you so much for asking. Fangirl over 40. Hello, OG. It's about 5 p.m. here in Ireland. I will be catching your first part tonight. Well, cheers to you for hanging in with us here on the chat. I'm going to go ahead and say hello to Iron Inquisitor. Then I'm going to come back to the chat, but I really wanted to pay respect to a fellow artist and someone that gave us glimpses of some movies before they came out. So let me bring this up here. So here we go, and I'm going to put myself at the bottom of the screen. Here we go. No, I don't want to be right there. Oh, yeah, I do. All right. So many of you guys may know, I'm just going to put him entirely on the screen. All right. So Robert Kastel is an artist that was hired by Lucasfilm to do some of the posters for some of their movies. Two notable posters are Empire Strikes Back, which you see on the left, and then, of course, Jaws on the right. And him painting the poster of Jaws. So we have these two posters here, very phenomenal, films or stories. One, Jaws, one Empire Strikes Back. Both fans loved. And I wish that I would have checked this to see why, make sure it's not running over the sides here. Sometimes when I do PowerPoints, if I don't check, sometimes it shifts the text on there, even though on the original platform it doesn't in the original program. So he was born 1932. There wasn't really a place given. And then he passed yesterday on the 15th. I think yesterday was the 15th. Yeah, the 15th. And he was an American artist. Of course, for Jaws, he did Jaws and Empire Strikes Back posters. And so I just want to say thank you to this man for giving us glimpses of some of the most iconic movies being commissioned by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg to create images, and knowing, probably bits and pieces of the story or what the storyline is to put it on a poster, and then showing your brilliance of your art, of you on these posters here and your interpretation of what you were given, the information you were given. And I have so much respect for these artists of the past who did posters like this, because now it's all digitalized, which I get, it's easier. But it's the cut and paste thing that sometimes it just takes the fun out of these posters. But when you see someone make something classically, and it looks like he's using oil, and when you see someone interpret what he has in his mind onto paper, onto that canvas, it's amazing. And to paint Han and Leia and everyone else so accurately with so much emotion, that's brilliant. So thank you again, Mr. Robert Kastel, for your brilliant artwork and giving us glimpses of these posters, of these movies, not posters, but movies. Thank you so much. I enjoyed, let me see, make sure my volume's up. There we go. I enjoyed looking at these, and just when I look at them, it just gives me, glimpses into the movie from when I watch them and stuff. So thank you so much. This icon here, may he rest in peace. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. And now let's put me back on the screen. There we go. Yeah, so I thought I'd pay a little bit of respect to the artist that gave us glimpses and of his brilliance and interpreting these movies that he was given the opportunity to create on a poster. So thank you so much. Let's see who's in the chat. Fangirl 40. Oh, I already read that one. That's right. Let me see here. I know you guys are chatting here. I have 12 beautiful souls here. You guys, please hit the like button. Caf Chat, we can have, a nice cozy 12. Sometimes we can get up to 20, 30 people, depending on what's going on in the day. Fractured Filters, good morning. Chat, smash that like button if you haven't already. Yes. And then Star Wars Scran, howdy chat. And of course, hello from Ireland, from Fangirls Over 40. Hit the like button. Yes, Soul Assassin. Hey, how are you doing? My mod is here. And Adega Outlaw. What's up, my peep? Hey. And deuces. Yes, deuces to you. Batsy is here. Hello, how are you doing? And let's see here. What else is going on? Making sure that I get everybody here. I'm just a subscriber, another channel member hopping on. Buenos dias, OG and Caf Chat. Red's my favorite color. Great glasses. Well, thank you. I need to put on the glare protector here so that you don't see all the glare going on. I have a window in front of me too, so that's what you're seeing. Consider becoming a channel member. In fact, I do need to get that adapter so I can play volume 2 of the Clone Wars, Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. So stay tuned for a date on that. I want to probably get it. I wanted to have it done by the end of this month, but it's not happening. So next month. So I'm going to get the adapter so I could play. They took down volume 2 of the Clone Wars 03 off of YouTube. And so I'm going to have to, find the adapter because I don't have a CD-ROM on my laptop. So I'm going to have to just do that. I just haven't had a chance to. So channel members, stay tuned for a date announced. If you're not a channel member and you want to have these kind of perks with me and, sit back and watch, Star Wars, like Clone Wars 03 and stuff like that, and discuss it with me, become a member. And Zagrat 315 is here. Hello. Another channel member. Let's see here. Good morning for hot apple cider. Ooh, that sounds really good. Good morning to you and cheers to that. Oh my God. I like the High Republic. Soul Assassin, what the hell? What are you doing? I don't know where that came from and what that joke was about or whatever, but maybe you'll catch me up on that. hello. How are you doing here, Matt G? Now that I know. Um, and let's see. Brandon is awesome. Another channel member for 3 months. If member chat here, rest in peace, Robert Kastel. Your legacy shall live on. Exactly. I mean, that brilliant work for a poster. I admire those who will sit down, and I don't have nothing behind me right now. I was working on something and I'm done with it. I still have my oils. They're still wet. That's what I love about oils, because they take their time. I can put a medium in them to have them dry a little bit faster, but they take their time drying. So like if I know I'm going to work on something else, I can relatively keep whatever colors I need here and mix some other colors and work from there. And then if I'm working on a piece and I need to step away for a day or two, I can always go back and work and maybe blend or whatever I need to do. So I used to be an acrylic painter. That was my thing. But then when I decided to cross over to oils, then that really just blew my mind with all the stuff I can do with it. So, and then very iconic work. So seeing people like that do posters and do images and stuff like that, is amazing. Like I said, I love digital work and stuff. That's amazing too. It takes an eye and a skill for that. But when you do it by hand and you do the lines, all the geometrics and stuff by hand, that is amazing. When you do your perspective, your linear aspect and all this other stuff, and getting everything accurate and correct, that's amazing when you do it by hand. Incredible poster. I agree. And let's see here. How are you today? I'm doing well. I am actually feeling about maybe 75-80% better. I did have the stomach bug. It hit me like that and knocked me down. Damn. So since I got home from the powwow and all that, because I wasn't on the spacing, because I was at the powwow, I did place in my competition, so I did earn money for dancing and stuff. I got home. I was going to take 2 rest days off and then hit the gym the second rest day, Tuesday evening. As I was going to get my food to prep for my meal prep for the week, I started going downhill. It hit me so quick. I felt nauseated, all of that. I couldn't eat, all of that. So, but now I'm about 80% better. So, and I'm sipping on coffee, so wish me luck. If I say chat, talk amongst yourselves, then I go off screen real quick, then yeah, there's a problem. So, sorry, I'm late. Everyone way busy. That's okay, Brandon. That's fine. Let's see here. I was a little bit late too. And Dr. Coffin Nails. Oh, hi. Well, hello. How are you doing, Dr. Coffin Nails? Glad to have you with us. So I see everybody popped in. Let's see here. And hold on, I'll get there. Hi, Jaw. His Jaws poster is iconic. You can find it just go to my YouTube channel on your internet browser, and then there should be a join button next on there. So if you are listening not on a device, if you're on the computer listening, then there should be a join button below by the chat somewhere above, like by the description area. So there you go. All right, you guys. So going back to our lore talk and all that. Hey, open Erlock Hey, look at that. Hey, what's up? Howdy. How you doing? I'm just here sitting with my nerdy glasses going on here. So we're going to get into our lore chat here. Let me bring this back up. And this time we're going all the way into the old Republic. Sorry about that. Let's see here. All right. It's hot nerdy day. Yes, it is. Every Thursday morning it's hot nerdy night, that too. But anyways, let me go ahead and change this here. So again, rest in peace, Robert. made some great iconic posters through oil. Like I said, through oil, that's amazing. We rely on technology for a lot of things, even for making quick, like my thumbnails. I don't paint them. I use my software here. So yeah. But anyways, thank you again, Robert. Amazing posters, amazing glimpse into Star Wars and into Jaws. Just by, Jaws, that's so minimalist, but it gives you the threat, like this person swimming nonchalantly, and it's showing you the threat here. Yeah. And so you have the suspense, someone caught off guard. I mean, so there's so much emotions going on here, just like there's so much emotions going on here. Now, take a look at this. I'm going to go back. We're going to start talking about Smuggler lore. But not only you have the emotion between Han and Leia, and you have the ice from Hoth and stuff like that. But these images here, I don't know if you could see my little scroller arrow, but on the bottom of the poster here for Empire Strikes Back, these three images here are not on the printed poster with the words, with the text and everything. So there's a difference there. And the color scheme is slightly different. The red is faded out a little bit. And so there's a little difference there. So I was looking at that. In Dallas Fort Worth, let me see if it go up. Let's see here. I clicked on you. I swear to God, Streamlabs hates me sometimes. There we go. I'm in Dallas Fort Worth, about to board. Can't hear either. Enjoy. All right. Well, you have a nice trip. Airports can be friggin' busy. There's so much energy going on in airports, especially the big ones. And Jim, the despot, is here, another channel member. So is Tim, another channel member. And let's see what Saul says here. Highly recommend going to the beach at least once, then play Jaws music and scare the locals. Imagine that. Now, that's another thing about, about their Jaws' score as well. Brilliant as well. Now let's see here. Jaws poster has been parodied about 1 billion times. Yeah. So I just wanted to go back and just show you a little bit more, like my artist eye. I'm like looking at the colors, the emotions, the lines, the perspectives, what it's conveying. Like the dark area here, you could see Vader, like his helmet. It's very faint. It's a little bit blurry, but you could see the threat behind them. Like it's like Empire Strikes Back. So, basically that's who's breathing down their back right now. And, so you have all those emotions from love, romance, to the Empire breathing down the back and more. Just like Jaws, you have someone swimming nonchalant and then there's a threat underneath. So very good interpretation of emotions and all this, and brilliant of Robert. So, okay, I'm done now. I could sit and talk about art all day long, but Caf Chat's not particularly about that. So we'll move on. So let's get into Old Republic Smuggler lore. So I sent out a schedule on my Twitter for the rest of this month. So next Thursday, no Caf Chat. It's Thanksgiving. I debated on if I wanted to not, but I will be with family. I'll be cooking too. And so I figured, everybody in America, who's celebrating or getting with family, eating together, doing whatever festivities they do for that day. Because some people get together, they eat, they go outside and play football or whatever. Have fun. And we are going to hang out. We are going to eat. We are going to go. And Tim, if you're watching, you're probably going to be like, oh my God, Alora. So we are going to go watch Tombstone in the theater, a local theater where my daughter lives at. as a family. So we're going to go there and we're going to sit down and we're going to watch Tombstone, one of my family's most favorite movies of all time, Tombstone. And then I don't know what else is going to happen. But that's my schedule. And I hope you guys have a great Thursday as well. I might stream maybe the day before, so stay tuned for that. But if I do, it's just to catch up and say, happy Thanksgiving. Um, what it means to me being Native American, because we have all that controversy that's always played out every single year. And rightfully so, people have mixed feelings about it. And that's perfectly fine, especially Native Americans. That's perfectly fine. And so I may pop on Wednesday and chat with you guys. And maybe we'll discuss more or less. God, you stupid internet. Some novels on like what era to start with and what are the best and worst novels. So maybe we'll do it about Star Wars timeline novel, the EU timeline, the novel timeline, and discuss that. So that's tentative. So to be announced. So I'll let you know because, again, depending on if I do it, it might be in the morning still. It might be a Wednesday morning Caf Chat, casual talk kind of thing. So stay tuned. If not, then we will, continue next Thursday. So next Thursday, we are going to get into more Old Republic Smuggler lore. We're going to do 2 smugglers together. One is Hilo Viz, and the other one is what's his name again? I have it right here. So Hilo Viz and Zared Core. So I think I said that right. Zared Core. So we're going to discuss those 2 to finish up the Old Republic smugglers lore, and whatever else, whatever topic comes to mind, whatever topic comes to mind. And I'm always open for recommendations. Like, hey, Laura, can we, touch up on this topic within the lore, or this subject, or this planet, or this species, or, because it's endless. It is endless. And then another thing I want to talk about is coming up soon. It's comparing, and I want to do a video about that, but there's a lot of, it's like right now my schedule's so busy that some videos I promise they never came to fruition. They're still on my edit on my phone. But I want to compare Anakin's fall to Darth Vader versus Jason Solo's fall to Darth Caedus, and how different they are. There's similarities, yes, but how different they are. Because I think people get caught up in the similarities so much that they fail to see the difference between their fall, both of them. And rightfully so, because Jason's not supposed to be Anakin. Anakin's not supposed to be Jason. And so their fall is significantly different. So I would love to talk about that. Really love to talk about that. Let me see here. All right, Fangirl, you have a good one. Thanks for tuning in and catch a replay. Let me know you came back. Let me know in the chat. I always want to see you guys comment in the chats when you catch the replay. Jim the Despot can't really play the Jaws theme at my local beach. It's a lake beach, and most of the people who frequent the beach remember Jaws in the theater, so they just gonna laugh. Just imagine that. Someone trying to be a smartass rolls up to a beach, which doesn't make sense anyways. It makes more sense doing it at the lake. It makes sense doing it at the lake or at the beach, not the, beach at the lake is what I'm trying to say. And people just start laughing, busting out laughing at you. Man, yeah. So it doesn't make sense doing it at the lake more than it does at the beach. But then again, people probably know the movie and at least that iconic score. Soul Assassin says, let's get OG to do a cooking stream and bug her with Star Wars questions while she cooks the turkey. Ha ha ha. Well, the turkey will cook on its own once I prep it, so that would be no problem. It's making some of the other things. Making pie. Homemade pie. I haven't done a homemade dough in a while. Maybe I'll do that. Jim says, oh, hell yeah. Love Tombstone and Western in general. Yes. Yes. So here we go. So let's get into this lore here with Nico Okarr. What do you, are any Old Republic, or should I say Knights of the Old Republic, the Old Republic fans, let me know in the chat, and who are your favorite characters within that timeline. Yeah, I was gonna say don't do the obvious like Revan and stuff like that, but or Satil, but let me know. No matter what, let me know who are your favorite characters in the Old Republic, aka Knights of the Old Republic, I guess you could say. But we're particularly talking about the Old Republic timeline, not just a video game, which I know. A lot of the lore and a lot of the attention in the Old Republic at that time frame way back then is basically the games with a little bit of books, with some books. So that wasn't fully fleshed out like the New Republic. New Republic is dense with material, rightfully so. I think all of it, even the worst, all tied in pretty well together. And because of that, and because that helped, I hate when my internet does that. When it gets the ball rolling with the lore and the continuity and what the company was seeing, what fans wanted, like other material, other coming out material, like the Old Republic and stuff, started having more better synchronicity or continuity, synergy, whatever you want to call it. And because how much they paid attention and how much Lucasfilm seen what fans wanted with a single continuity. So we have that. So let me know in the chat, who is your favorite character from the overall Old Republic? Let's see here. Soul Assassins, too many great characters in the Old Republic era. I know you're a big fan. If I'm correct, Soul Assassin, that's your starting point besides the movies, right? Is the Old Republic? I think I remember you saying that. And then Batu says, I'm here. My PC is giving me issues today, but I'm listening. Okay, yeah, PCs. I need to clean this computer out here, my laptop and stuff. I need to get my computer behind me rolling and have both of them, be my support when I live stream and make videos and stuff. All right, let me go ahead and bring this screen up all the way. Oh, damn it. I hate when that happens. Let me take down the brand part of that. Let's see here. All right. So here we go. Nico Okarr. Date and homeworld was never given, so that's unknown. And his species and gender, human male, hair brown, eyes brown. And his, I always try to put affiliations, even if I don't talk about the affiliations, but his affiliation at one point is the Eternal Alliance. So, and I wanted to talk about soon, when I start wrapping this up, is some of the Smuggler alliances, like the Smuggler alliances that Talon Card created, but some of those alliances like that were out there in support of smugglers and stuff, that and they're little, I guess you could, guilds, I guess you can say. And he's a phenomenal character too. I mean, from everybody's response when I've been tweeting and stuff, everybody has been giving this guy a very positive response and stuff. And I like seeing that. I know there's characters that resonate with many or people, and some don't resonate with some people, and that's fine. That's okay, because we all have differing opinions about Star Wars lore, characters, all of that, and that's what makes us hardcore elitists, I guess you could say, us old guard, if you'd say. Man, I'm dating us, right? Not dating like putting a date on us. That's being exposed to this lore and reading through it, learning through it, experiencing it, all of that gives us a broad range of knowledge and stuff, and I think it's wonderful to sit and talk with people, even if they don't agree with me liking something, or them not agreeing with me. Like, my hot take is not topic, but take. My hot take is, I think Thrawn trilogy is overrated. I respect it for what it brought to the timeline, what Lucas film noted to what the fans wanted because of when the trilogy was fully out for us to read. I love the story. I just think it's now overrated. So you could still have respect for something that's overrated. Something overrated can be still good to you, and that's fine. So that's my my hot take, I guess you could say. And some of you guys be like, what? Okay, I'm leaving, Laura. I'm done listening to you. No, but I'm just, but still, we could agree, we could disagree on some things, and it's a beautiful thing. We could sit down and talk with civility with each other about it. And that's the point that I'm coming to here. Now, with Nico, he was a smuggler captain, around the time of 3,680, 70, 80 BBY. He achieved fame before the Great Galactic War. So he was very popular, very skilled, going through his lore. It was almost like he felt like, I wouldn't say he's another Han Solo. He's definitely distinctively different. And Soul Assassin, I was in conversation with, and what's crazy is that these influential smugglers always seem to be at the right place at the right time, helping, win something, helping secure something. And like with Nico and Hilo and even Han Solo, they were at the right place at the right time to help save someone or help defeat something. And you can even see that maybe with Talon Card in the Thrawn duology. So there's another one there. So they always seem to be these phenomenal characters, smuggling characters, always seem to be at the right place at the right time. And so that was something interesting to realize. And he's one of them. He's one of those phenomenal characters. And when you look at the image below, when he has 2 blaster pistols. And really, if you really want to get into Western Star Wars like scene, take a look at him in this image here. And I don't think Book of Boba Fett, as hard as it tried to make it a Western themed kind of story for Star Wars, based upon what, the elements and themes that George intertwined within his story in Star Wars and his scenes in Star Wars, I think this here is a great example of doing it successfully with a character. And you may agree with me, you may not. That's fine. Let me know. And it is said let me see here. Yeah, I can read my handwriting. It is said his debts were as great as his deeds. And this allowed Okarr to take the most high risk and higher reward jobs in the underworld. So he was well sought out smuggler, mercenary. And he got the job done no matter what. Kind of like a little bit of like Boba Fett in his later years. He got the job done no matter what. And so I thought that was interesting here is, and like I said, I compared him a little bit to Han Solo, but then again, Han Solo wasn't quite able to get his job done. But circumstances also lend to why he couldn't in the OT. And we all know that story. And speaking of the OT, we are going to talk about the awards ceremony for Cringe Factor. So stay tuned for that. And let's see here. Let's get back to Okarr. So Okarr kind of sounds like it's an Irish kind of name. I could be wrong. Okarr. But that's what when I was looking up his character, prepping last night, I was like Nico Okarr, like O'Brien Okarr. But I was like, damn, that kind of sounds like it's a ethnic name in a sense, but that's okay. It's Star Wars. Star Wars has some crazy names, some names that we never knew we were pronouncing wrong until we finally hear it pronounced on an audible or something like that, like Coruscant. So how many times has that been butchered, even by other productions? Other audible productions until we finally got to hear it. In the PT. So, and then Minnie competed for his services, including the Hutt cartel. So there we go. So we kind of get a history here, a little bit of glimpse of the Hutts. They lived for a long time. And of course, they always been prominent in, the underworld, the outer rim, in dealing with smuggling and other types of, I wouldn't say criminal, but maybe criminal things, smuggling and all of that, and drug dealing, all of that. So they have always, that's always been something of their nature. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Yeah, blame Couture. Let's see here. Favorite character in Sator, Kira Carson, one of the more interesting companions and the best girl. I will die on that hill. Awesome. You're like, I'm standing on this hill and I'll die here too with that. My favorite character was Jasa. I think I said that right. As evil mass, you. And let's see here. And then Diddly Squat, what's up? Hello, hello, hello. What did I miss? We just began talking about Nico Okarr from the Old Republic. He's a smuggler from the Old Republic. And then we'll get into Caf Chat, or not Caf, we are in Caf Chat. Damn it, Alora. We'll get into Cringe Factor. And then we'll wrap it up. So yes, so just have a seat, grab your favorite drink, your favorite snack or whatever, and listen in, ask any questions. Let me know who is your favorite Old Republic or Knights of the Old Republic character. So if you guys, some of you guys may have them, some of you guys may not have not visited that era, and so you have no clue, and that's okay. That's why we're here. This is to get you interested in these vast areas of the lore, of the timeline, and we're delving into the smuggler lore. So now we're going into these characters that have a lot of character, a lot of influence, all of that. So hopefully this will open you up to wanting to explore this time frame a little more. That's the intention of sharing on Caf Chat. Now, in 3681-ish BBY, Venzelo, who is a Jedi Master, and his astromech TZ-01 worked undercover as Nico's co-pilots, or co-pilot and mechanic. They attempted to smuggle Sith artifacts off of Korriban. So we all know what happens with this. Well, those who know the story. Like I said, I'm assuming that everybody knows the story behind this character, Nico Okarr. And we know that he finds a certain artifact and it kind of stays with him, but we'll get into that here pretty soon. And after that, they excuse me, their arrest got interrupted by the arrival of the Sith Empire with a massive fleet. Okarr helped Cal Darash and his Padawan Satil Shan. So he helped them escape, and there's a nice little story behind that. Like I I highly recommend that you get into that storyline as well. He used his 2 blaster pistols and volunteered the Red Shifter, which is his ship, to help them escape. So he basically saved them. However, Master Darash was killed. So in the process of escaping, fighting, escaping, fleeing, whatever, Satil, Sean's master, was killed. So again, some of you guys will know the story, some of you guys won't, and hopefully this will get you interested in exploring around that some more. Let me see what you guys have to say. Bato says, I hated the way they animated the huts in Sator, much too big. I haven't gotten into Sator the game to know and see the visuals, so I'm gonna have to take a look. But I do believe you. Sometimes animating something can be off a little bit. It happens. Like when you look at characters that are like Luke's character, when you look at him, or Mara Jade, by various artists and cover artists and stuff, their appearances are slightly different, just slightly different. But they're relatively the same. They're still recognizable as the character, but there's differences because of artists, how they interpret what they see. So, yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you. I was going to ask you to pull this up, or at least that and another trailer or whatever. But so we'll take a look at that. Hopefully that it doesn't, get me kicked off here, give me a strike or anything like that. But if you guys want to see it on your own, cut and paste this here, put it in your browser and watch it after the show. Star Wars Grand says, I'll have to catch the rest of the replay. Have fun, chat. You have a good one too. Thank you for coming in. And then so, he helped Satil and them escape. Her master got killed. So he delivering Shan and T-701 to Coruscant. After he disappeared. So people thought he was dead. People thought that, after his disappearance, like Satil, all of them thought he died somewhere, like he was gone, like he totally disappeared. He thought that he was dead, all of that. So let's see here. It's funny how in every era the smugglers are very proud of their ships. Yeah, that's their thing. I think because it's their home. That's Okarr basically was rebuilding his ship to be the fastest, most effective, around. So there's that pride in the ship. It's kind of like the cowboy has pride in his steed, his horse, and they have the bond, I guess you can say, if you want to go and look at it in that perspective. I've owned a few horses. They're amazing. Mine was, her name was Wildfire. I think she was like she was short. She was like 14 hands or something like that. I'm short too. So we were a perfect match. She was when I got her, before she came into our home, into our family, she was a teenager's barrel racing horse. So she loved to work. She loved to run. And so that's another reason why she was called Wildfire. Very amazing little horse. And then we had a big, huge sorrel paint horse. His nickname was Houdini, but his name was Osage Dash. Big old guy. He was just a big, stout guy, very tall. And we called him Houdini because he knew how to almost unlock or open up every single door, corral type door possible. So we'd have to basically lock him in his corral or he would open it and get out. So yeah. So, but I'm saying comparing the ship to horses, and then I'm talking about horses, because I went off on a little tangent there. Yeah. So, look at who's here. Abunas just popped to show love to my EU elitists. I'll have to catch the replay. I'm in the midst of contract negotiations. Someone said, contract negotiations at my dog. Much love to you. Well, thank you so much. Sorry I missed Dark Council last night. I'll have to catch that replay to see what you guys had to say. And then salute to the chat. Hope y'all are doing good. Awesome. Let me take a sip here. Again, you guys, as you pop in, hit that like button. Share that we're live. Let people know we're talking George Lucas era of Star Wars. This to rekindle love and hope for, keeping the true Star Wars in front of you. If you're feeling down and out about the direction Star Wars is going under Disney, come over here to where the heart still lies. I'm sounding all poetic now, but for reals, you guys, the heart is still within pre-Disney Star Wars because the heart was George Lucas. He overseen, approved, helped every aspect of Star Wars lore that came out. Yes, his involvement was mainly the movies. We all know that. But we also know that what we see, like what we're reading here, what I'm reading here and giving you about Nico Okarr from the Old Republic, wouldn't be possible if he did not allow it. At minimum, the stories that we get here is because he wanted them to be told. And so that's why I say, even in the EU, there is the heart of George. It is his era of Star Wars. And so again, if you're feeling down and out about what's going on today in modern Star Wars under Disney, come over here, have a seat, grab your cup, vent to me about it. Yes, vent about it, let it release it, and then enjoy, because we still have this beautiful lore here. We still have the heart of Star Wars here. Are we, and I'm not going to get into the what ifs if they continue the timeline, because that kind of, from what I've seen before, are seen now, that would probably be very scary to see what they would have done. So thank you guys again for your support and coming in and helping to keep this channel thriving, even though I haven't been putting out lore videos and stuff, but just coming to you live here every Thursday. Thank you guys so much. All right. So there we go. I went on my little tangent here. Let's see here. Dilly Squat says, Sator demonstrated how good writing can make a character like Ahsoka Tano work. And their takes on Ashra's Zavros. Just apply aggressive negotiations. You know what? I've been wanting, and I was going to say that, mention this, but I've been wanting to put that little conversation about aggressive negotiations as a clip on my, in my brand to use. Man, the timing, if Abu Nas said, would have been amazing. That would have been great. Abu says, love the Sator. I've played that game since the beginning in 2011. Awesome. Yes, and check out my community. And I started posting some more things. So when I'm not posting, it kind of gets quiet. Like for the admin, with the admin, it kind of gets quiet with me in there. Feel free to continue to share. All I ask for you guys to not do is make it a a bash Disney Star Wars page. That's not what that's about. We can do that publicly on Twitter, but not in the community. Let's see here. Thank you so much. Batu says, don't even have to vent OG stars. Just hearing someone has not been brainwashed by Disney's hot air gives me hope. Well, thank you so much. Let's see here. Aggressive negotiations, diplomatic solutions, greater than diplomatic solutions. All right. So let's see. Let's pick up where I left off at. So after Nico quote unquote disappeared, he settled on Malavar, where he spent time in the Sarlacc and loaded Cantina under the alias Snare. So he had an alias. He disappeared. He went under the name Snare, which, if he's so, and this is what I questioned a little tiny bit, is if he's so famous and so highly sought out for his expertise in smuggling and mercenary work, how can you go undercover? Now, I think Malvar is in the Outer Rim, I believe. I could be wrong, or if it's in Unknown Regions. But for someone whose face is kind of identifiable for being sought out as a main hire for smuggler and mercenary work, it must have been very hard for him to go undercover and hide and go under the, and not undercover, but hide and go under the alias Snare. So there's that. Just a small little question of mine, not too big of a deal, because I mean he wasn't as popular as Han Solo because of the war that they went through and stuff like that, and the feats that he's done, that made him a poster boy of the time. So there's that. Interesting turn of events. Seamus Caldo and Vanu, which is Caldo's bodyguard, was looking to hire Snare to help them locate Nico Okarr. Yeah, that's true. That's what I would say. The Outer Rim area. Yeah. So yeah. I just had a small question about that due to the fact that he was he worked for the Hutt cartel. He was sought out by them. That's all unknown or Outer Rim area and stuff like that. So that's where I kind of question that. But like I said, he wasn't as popular and as known as Han, so probably it was a lot easier for him at the time. Let's see here. So let's get going on this. To help them, so they wanted to hire Snare to help them locate Nico Okarr. Caldo had no intentions of paying Nico, and so after Nico after Snare was like, yeah, I'll take it, and then he was going to reveal himself and stuff like that. And after he revealed who he was, basically Caldo's like, I'm not paying you. There was a back and forth. They went to try to kill Nico and whatever, not pay him. And so Nico stunned them both and retrieved his payment from Caldo and from Caldo's unconscious body. So basically he's like, fuck this shit, and he basically put his blasters on stun and took off with his money. So and he basically abandoned his alias name Snare and left Molavar. So that's the end of the Snare alias and hiding away. And again, like I said, he had that Sith artifact that didn't age him. So he, 50 years later, are near around. Oh God, I hate when my voice gets like this. After disappearing, Nico Okarr toured the cantinas on the planet. Hilo Viz tracked Nico down, inquired why he had not aged. Right? Basically, she's like, why haven't you aged? Why are you still existing now? Which goes into the amulet that he kept from Korriban. And of course he let her know where it was from, what happened or whatever. And so she basically recruited him, and he agreed to join her alliance, and working alongside Viz, defending the Alliance base during the assault of Odyssin by the Empress Valen. So there's a bit of his story here. It's unknown when he died. So that's another unknown fact, about his story here. So a little bit about Nico Okarr. And there you guys go. So we're just at the top of the hour now. I'm going to go into our Cringe Factor. So if you guys have anything you want to add to that, feel free to do it. I will read through the comments here. Let's see here. Who wouldn't keep an amulet that lets you age slowly, right? Exactly. That was something too that I was thinking, and it kept him in the game. It kept him in the game. And Hilo's like, dude, you haven't aged. Like, you're older than me, you know. And then he didn't age because a dark side is a path to many abilities some consider unnatural. Haha. I get that. I get that. So that was a very interesting bit of the story. Like, imagine going and going to Korriban with a Jedi Master to smuggle some Sith artifacts off the planet, and then, of course, going to go put it in your archives on Ossus, your library on Ossus, which then goes into Bane's story. Not Bane, I'm sorry. What's his name? Hold on. Why am I forgetting his name already? Not Bane, but excuse me. I'm stretching. Let's see here. But it continues on the story. Exar Kun. There we go. Exar Kun. I'm like, damn it. Why can't I think of his name? But it continues on to Exar Kun's story. Damn. I was like, damn, I could not even figure that name out. Damn. Yeah. So interesting bit here about how, like, the Jedi of the past collected artifacts and stuff from Korriban and used mercenaries and smugglers to help get those artifacts to put in the library. And then you go into the PT era, where Anakin wants to learn how to prevent his wife from dying, and knows that from the manipulation of Palpatine that there is Sith artifacts that can help lead to that. And he wants to become master, not because truly being invested as a master, but to get into those archives. So imagine that. So you see the little bit of continuity going on with the stories here and how they link up with each other and how it builds upon the story, builds upon the history, and contributes to the history and the future of the timeline of the Star Wars galaxy. Very, very great storylines there. Very great continuity keeping there with even little bits of story bits, and stuff. So very interesting here. So let's go ahead and get into, put my face up here. Hello, you guys. I'm back. Let's get into our Cringe Factor. Whoopsie, wrong one. God, I cannot get my act together. I'm still not feeling 100%. So bear with me, you guys. Bear with me. So in the meantime, let's check out Boba Fett.
The fate of the galaxy is now in your hands. With the new LEGO Star Wars Slave One, you can load Captain Solo, arm your weapon systems, man the cockpit, and take off with the most feared ship in the galaxy. But watch out for rebel ships. No matter the enemy, no matter the firepower, you control the action. With the new LEGO Star Wars collection.
So uncivilized.
All right. So let's get into this Cringe Factor story here. So this is going to be something that you guys will be like, what the heck are they trying to say here? Well, anyways, let's get into this. There's a much bigger problem with the New Hope's medal ceremony. Now, what can they be saying with this? What is there that's so wrong with the medal ceremony? What do you think this could be? What did George do wrong? What are they implying that George did wrong? Okay, now I can't get to the chat. There we go. There we go. Yeah, let's cringe. Yes, let's cringe. So what do you think they're trying to imply here? Let's get into the story now. So A New Hope, let me go ahead and bring this in a little bit more. A New Hope's medal ceremony is one of the greatest movie endings of all time, but it also has a problem that creates a glaring Star Wars plot hole. What do you think that plot hole is? Let me know in the chat, because I'm very interested to find out what you guys can come up with. What do you see that this writer, Nathaniel Rourke, and we've used a lot of his articles for Cringe Factor. What do you think that this person is alluding to on what is wrong? Like, what is that plot hole? Before we get into the story, I want to know. So let's hear it, you guys. Let's hear it. What is wrong with this? I'm going to put that back up there. There we go. What plot hole? Chewbacca didn't get a medal, but got the last line of the movie. That's not a plot hole, though, really. I mean, that's just the fans are like rooting for Chewbacca. Like, why didn't he get a medal? But that's not necessarily a plot hole, because it doesn't hurt the story. Let's see here. And then I have no idea. Yeah, that's the thing. So when I was searching last night for a Cringe Factor, and I go between CBR and Screen Rant, usually Screen Rant wins out more than anything else when it comes to Cringe Factor here. So let me go ahead and, I don't know, see, every time and I hate this when StreamYard starts acting up like this. All right. So I might have to read without highlighting why they keep circling back to the damn scene again and again. I don't know. Let's see here. So let's get into this article here. So if anybody who's watching, if you haven't answered this question, what do you think that plot hole is? Let me know, and I will get to you guys in the chat here. Let's go ahead and check this out. So again, this is published 4 days ago. This is by Nathaniel Rourke. And here's Chewbacca, of course, the award ceremony. So let's see. The entire ceremony doesn't make sense in A New Hope, with the other Star Wars movies confirming this. Understandably, the rebels would want to celebrate their victory against the Empire. And so, see, again, so why does it not make sense? So let's see what they have to say. And while it fits the movie's tone, there's a reason why it shouldn't have happened. The Star Wars comics admitted this was a problem and made it worse. A New Hope's medal ceremony may not hurt the ending, but it is one of the Star Wars most confusing in-universe moments. Were you confused by the medal ceremony at the end of Star Wars A New Hope? I mean, is it only this person that's confused? What? I honestly, you guys, like, this is laughingly cringe right here. Just reading this and leaving it at this is laughingly cringe worthy right here. When you watch the award ceremony at the end of New Hope, they were victorious. They destroyed the Death Star. The Empire basically limped off with their tails tucked between their legs, basically. Severely wounded, pride, emotionally, pride, all of that. Physically, one of their major weapons was destroyed. And so they basically, were decimated in a sense. They had to regroup. Whenever someone's defeated, they always have to regroup, and it takes time for them to regroup. Now, what I said here, keep that thought in your mind. Regrouping. After a defeat, you always regroup. But when you watch this, was it confusing to you why they were doing this? Was it one of the most confusing in-universe moments for you? Something, I don't know. Let me see here. Hey, Gordon McDonald, how are you doing? And we are now getting into Cringe Factor, and it's about the award ceremony. And again, I cannot, for whatever reason, I cannot highlight these guys towards the end when it comes to Cringe Factor. So Gordon says, I was never confused. And then, man, talk about dense. And then Dilly Squat says, no was a huge victory against the Empire. The very first big towards the liberation of the galaxy. I agree. And let's see here. Soul Assassin says the Empire had to regroup since Vader and Tarkin were gone at the time. Correct. Vader blasted out to the, out, had to regroup, had to find his way back. There's a whole story behind that we're not going to get into. I'm not going to get into those dynamics. Tarkin killed. So two of the most pivotal, right and left-hand men of the Emperor gone for a little bit, gone. Well, no, one was definitely gone. One was gone for a little bit. And Vader did get reprimanded for allowing this defeat to happen, mind you. Yeah, so if you get into the story, he was reprimanded for that. And then Gordon says, or I'm going to go back to Soul Assassin. Soul Assassin says the Battlefront 2 campaign shows how the Empire regrouped and invaded Yavin a few hours after the medal ceremony. Yes, we're going to get into that. I like how George Lucas said he liked to end each episode film with big musical pieces scene. And then, so that's Gordon. And Dilly Squat says Vader was lucky his tie had hyperdrive. So here we go. Let's get back into the story. And Soul Assassin, we'll get into what you said here as soon as we read through this. Because this is where Disney was like, we're going to fix this. We're going to fix this confusing moment and stuff. We're going to get into all of this, okay? Star Wars Medal Ceremony may be the perfect ending to a great movie, but it doesn't make sense for the rebels to waste time. They never wasted time. This medal ceremony wasn't a waste of time. Luke Skywalker had just destroyed a super weapon that the Empire had spent almost 20 years constructing secretly, meaning Emperor Palpatine would be out for blood. Of course, he did counter it. And Nathaniel, the author of this write-up here, failed to do his research. Like always, like all of these pop culture sites forget to do. They failed to do their fucking research. All right, since the Empire knew the rebels were on Yavin 4, Palpatine may have immediately decided to send the Imperial fleet to wipe out the rebel base. So since the Empire knew the rebels were on Yavin 4, well, he was separate from the battle. We all know that. He was separate. So does he really know they were on Yavin? They could have left right after. I'm just throwing some what ifs out there. But we'll get into what happened really after. Palpatine may have immediately decided to send Imperial fleet to wipe out the rebel base, much as Supreme Leader Snoke. So they're comparing it to Disney Star Wars and what Disney Star Wars did. Not a good comparison. Much as Supreme Leader Snoke did to the Resistance in Star Wars The Last Jedi. And they fucking didn't do anything. It was a stupid fucking chase that went slow. They forgot the physics. They forgot that, their ships, their fleet could speed up and catch. Instead, they had them so amount of distance going slowly behind them. It was fucking ridiculous. So if you're going to compare that, nothing happened. Nothing fucking happened. Now, if you want to say, oh, well, they followed them to that crate planet or whatever, that red-white planet, whatever. That's still... They weren't on that base hiding out and doing, that wasn't their base at the time. They fled to the base to seek cover. So there's a difference between that. It's not like they destroyed the First Order's fleet or super weapon that already happened way before then, and they were still on that base, and they did it from that base, and that was their counter, where they countered them and stuff. It's not the same comparison. Not even one remotely a bit the same. Anyways, let's go on. And they didn't have an award ceremony on that stupid planet where, you know, where they had to leave with only how many survivors in The Last Jedi, I think I remember. So there, like I said, there's no comparison. And the problem with the metal, what the fuck? All right, I'm going to read this again. The problem with the medal ceremony became more apparent when the official Star Wars Disney lore acknowledged it. There was nothing wrong with it. There was nothing wrong with taking a time to do an award ceremony in victory, a victory ceremony, basically. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not a plot hole. It didn't hurt any of the story, not even the Empire side of the story. Because we didn't see a counter after, doesn't mean it didn't happen. So they're saying that Disney went and corrected it with Star Wars Princess Leia #1 comic series by Mark Wade and Terry Dodson. What picks up immediately after the event of A New Hope, with Leia giving a heartfelt speech about the rebellion's victory and the lives lost on Alderaan. However, Leia kept the memorial short because the Empire knew where they were. Oh, so they use that to retcon and change how people are going to see the ceremony. Do you get it? Do you get what they're doing, that myself and my comrades on the spacing have been talking about? They don't have to remake these movies. They are using their mixed media, they're using their other materials to change how you view the movies. So, you know, she's like, she gave a short speech and they concluded because they had to leave because the Empire was coming. And General Dodonna said that the fleet had arrived to help rebels evacuate. If evacuation was a top priority, the rebels should have dismantled and transported equipment to leave as soon as the ships arrive. With that, they don't have to take equipment, not all their equipment. But anyways, that's another story. The comics may have attempted to fix this problem. Again, what fucking problem are you talking about? But it makes the medal ceremony more bizarre by drawing attention to the issue. So basically, you're admitting it, Nathaniel, that it does create a problem. There was no problem, but now this Leia comic, her giving a speech and saying, we got to make this short, and downplaying their victorious medal ceremony that George Brilliant put together. Now you're admitting that it doesn't make sense, because it fucking doesn't. The Empire Strikes Back also highlights this inconsistency with the rebels. How does it? As they immediately evacuated Echo Base on Hoth, those are two different situations. One, for instance, that I said already, is that the Empire was defeated. They got their asses whooped. They had to regroup. That is such a thing, Nathaniel. If you understood this, that, you know, after defeat, you have to regroup. You have to gather all your forces again. Your two main top leaders, that one's dead, one is off on his own because he's got shot away, basically Darth Vader, and is stranded somewhere, having to find his way back. Again, regrouping is a thing. And then going from where your fleet, where your base, where you're at on Coruscant to Yavin takes time to travel. It doesn't take a few hours to get between those places. It takes time. Hyperspace travel takes time. You get there quicker, yes, but it still takes time. But the way Disney has been doing and treating their hyperspace travel, it's like you're there within an hour. It's like there's no depth of time in that travel whatsoever. But the reality of Star Wars under George hyperspace travel does take time. It shortens up the time that would take lifetimes sometimes. It shortens the time, but it still takes time from days to weeks. So there is time to have a ceremony, but when you compare it to the Echo base evacuation, they are searching for them. They're already on their heels at this point. Versus regrouping after being defeated or having your butts kicked, handed to you. There is a difference. And me as a woman, I can recognize this, Nathaniel. I could tell the differences between. Yet you're over here trying to make a conclusion off of nothing to show that, oh, George did it wrong. It doesn't make sense. Actually, it does. So let's continue to read this. The moment they suspected the Empire knew where they were, Leia made the same mistake 34 years later at the end of the Star Wars Force Awakens. You know what? That's a lot. We're not going to get into what happened in the Disney trilogy because none of that makes sense to even the 6 original movies. So basically, Chewbacca may have gotten a medal in A New Hope, or may not have gotten a medal in A New Hope, but it's certainly not the biggest problem with the Star Wars movies ending. So they're saying that this award, Nathaniel's saying that this award ceremony is the big problem. So let's see what you guys have to say with this. And I'm going to pull up something here pretty soon. We're going to talk about the conclusion, what happened after the award ceremony. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm not going to try it. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. And I'm going to add this back. Because I'm going to scroll to where I need to be. All right. So Batu says, the Death Star's destruction wasn't really when the tide of the war turned, wasn't really when the tide of the war turned like it seemed. That's just when the war became a winnable battle. So that was a huge first major victory, but they did basically stir that nest, basically. Sent the Empire back, severely injured, defeated, pride, all of that. They had to regroup, and they came back. And so I'm going to get into your comments here pretty soon, but I wanted to read this to you guys. So this is the aftermath. The rebels remained on the moon for 6 months afterwards until finally escaping the Imperial blockade. So they were blockaded. They were held captive in a sense by an Imperial blockade 6 months after. So if Nathaniel would have done the research, they would have known, or he would have known, that the Empire did come back and did, enforce, put their, did their blockade and all that. Yavin 4 requested the assistance of the defense in order to protect their evacuation ships in space. General Jan Dodonna remained behind, blowing up a temple to damage the Imperial forces. Under the secret observation of Mara Jade, Darth Vader wiped out the remaining ground troops and captured the injured Dodonna, whom Vader interrogated until Dodonna revealed the rebel presence on Ratha. Dodonna was then imprisoned aboard the Lusancia, and all these, if you could now see all these lore connections, not only with the movies, but with its other material, because Star Wars is a multimedia project, multimedia franchise, and it relies on other medias to tell the story as well as the films. Although most rebels, so he was, aboard the Lusancia, although most rebels and even Mara Jade mistakenly believed him dead, the Empire then occupied the moon. So basically, they imprisoned them by a blockade for 6 months. So imagine there probably was little conflicts here and there, of course. They end up escaping. Mara Jade was one of them that, kind of observed and spied and, whatever. She is the Emperor's hand. And Vader went in there to wipe out the remaining troops as well. So there was conflict after that. But like I said, they had to regroup and they had to get to the location. That takes time. It's not like what Disney Star Wars is implying, that hyperspace you can be in there within hours. That's not the case. So yeah, there was a downtime. But that doesn't mean that the Rebel Alliance didn't know that they were going to be after them. Of course they fucking knew that. They blew up the Death Star. But it was a major victory. So there you go. So Disney thinks, so this is not only this person who's thinking that, George did something, like George did when he had the ceremony for the ending of A New Hope or Star Wars. It's Disney who's also thinking that. They're thinking that they had to correct it with shortening the ceremony with a stupid speech, and that's it, and they took off. Again, rewriting what George was doing. Let's see here. Is it going to highlight, or I'm going to have to read from the side? Okay, it's not going to highlight for me. So Soul Assassin says, many of the games show what happens after Yavin Screen Rant needs to do better research. Yep, exactly. And a little bit of the comics as well, if that leads into that. And I love, this is Diddly Squat, and it finally highlighted. So let me see if this will highlight now. It's going to take a while. I love how every time they have to prove Lucas's work was bad, they immediately use Disney canon. Yeah, and then Disney canon ends up screwing it up anyways. Let's see here. Yeah, the Force Awakens wasn't the great either. The Resistance was just a more beat down, more desperate rebellion. Like they had the courage, but no money, no support, no plan. Finding Luke proved useless. Yeah, that was just a huge game plot type scenario for them. Let's see here. And Diddly Squat says, Screen Rant never makes research. Not just, well, they did research it, but they didn't research on George Lucas era's end, because they wanted to make it look like George didn't know what he was doing. Like that ending was confusing. So do you see what's going on there? Because they did their research for Disney Star Wars, but not for George Lucas era. That's the huge difference. Let's see here. The Empire never took the rebellion seriously until the destruction of the Death Star, correct? Then they put their full attention on them, hence why the rebellion kept moving, because the Empire was hunting them. Yeah, they were always on their heels, and that's why they had to leave Hoth so quickly, because they were on their heels. They did a swift blow against the Empire by blowing up the Death Star. And yeah, and then ever since then, they were under the radar to destroy, because they were creating an unrest in the galaxy. People were finally seeing what the Empire was really about. Some people, it took that many years, 19 years later, plus years, to really see what the Empire was about. That's why you see the Rebel Alliance forming towards BBY. Forming after the destruction of the the PT era and the purge and all of that. It took time for people to slowly see what the Empire was really about. There was a lot of people that were still for the Empire because of that dramatic speech that the Emperor, that Palpatine gave on how the Jedi betrayed them. It was all propaganda. It was all manipulation by Palpatine himself. But as we slowly got closer to the Battle of Yavin, we started seeing more and more people realizing how bad the Empire was and how they were enslaving certain species and stuff like that. So you've seen that slow evolution of that going on. And so most of the time they were under the radar. Most of the time they were just seen as criminals, as smugglers and stuff. They weren't really, anything. They were just like a little nuance, or not nuance. I wouldn't say nuance. They were just like a little pest that just needed to be pushed aside at the time. Not until the destruction of the Death Star. And then after that, they were sought out to be destroyed. Nobody researches with Star Wars anymore. They're counting on fans not thinking. That's the sad thing. Many fans will just take it like, oh, well, they said it. I read it here. They said it. I don't need to look into it. You should look into everything. I still research a lot of crap when it comes to Star Wars, George Lucas era, because I want to know the ins and outs of it. There's things I'm like, oh shit, they fucked up here, or oh wow, they really got this right. So it was never about George Lucas era being perfect, but they damn well was near it when they had the single continuity or history created, through George and many other creatives that he hired. So, but today no one looks into researches anything anymore. They just take everything as in face value. Gordon says, let me see if I can write this, if it'll let me. It'll go off the screen here pretty soon. Let's see here. Gordon McDonald says, wasn't there a short book series that covered the immediate events following the Battle of Yavin? I remember reading one as a kid, and there was a lot of like kid stories and materials and stuff out there. Yeah, so it was all tied in. It was all tied in together. It was all formed through the years, and even in the games and stuff. I heard someone, published 2008. Yeah. I've heard some saying that rebels should have stood their ground on Yavin and Hoth, that running caused more damage. What do you think? And that's from Batu. If they would have stood their ground, because they were such a small force compared to the Empire, they would have been defeated. They needed to leave Hoth. They were basically trapped in. They were backed in a corner. They needed to get out. Let's see here. Gordon McDonald says, with the destruction of Alderaan, the rebellion lost a majority of their financial support, and had to heed the Munulist, according to 2008 book Star Wars Rebel Force, Target by Alex Wheeler. Yeah, so there's a lot of supplement. If you guys haven't read that, feel free to start picking up. You might be able to find copies out there. Hopefully it's not too expensive. Like a lot of these short story reads, young adult reads are now asking for a pretty penny because they're not being reprinted. So, and then Batu says, I voted that it wouldn't work. The rebels can't stand a war of attrition. But what do you all say? So if you guys want to answer what Batu said here, I'm going to finish reading these comments here. Diddley Squat says, stand the ground is nothing but waiting for the destroyer to glass the entire surface of the planet. Correct. Bombardment. The rebellion had a chance against the Empire only because they were elusive most of the time. And that's the thing. They had to stay out of the sight of the Empire. That's why they were trying to find places to have, put up their headquarters, their bases and stuff that was unknown. On Yavin 4, the rebellion intercepted a code Imperial transmission indicating that the Empire was determined to hunt down the pilot who destroyed the Death Star, and so the rebellion had to hide Luke. Well, in a sense, yeah, that's true. And but Luke was still a pivotal part of the rebellion, and basically one of the budding leaders, of course. And so his story within that era is very interesting. If you want to read, I think I will go ahead, and after we're done here, I will put some of the stories of that time frame in the community chat and the community chat here on YouTube. Soul Assassin shared Star Wars Rebel Alliance or Rebel Force audiobook. Here you go. So if you guys want to pick that up, come on, highlight, please. Let me go ahead and remove some of these stuff. There we go. So here you go. So go ahead and copy and paste, save it on your browser, go back and listen to that. So there you guys go. That was the Cringe Factor. We got it done in less than an hour, which is amazing. Sometimes I'm like, sometimes we go over the hour and start Cringe Factor a little bit later. Sometimes we start right near the top of the hour and it goes on for a while. So what do you guys think about this? What do you guys think about this? Do you think that the ending was that George messed up on the ending, that it was confusing? I know a lot of you guys chimed in already from the beginning. So those who are joining in, are listening, are catching the replay, what do you think on that? I don't think that it was a confusing ending. It made sense. It gave us a sense of victory. And then it set up Empire Strikes Back. So it set up that the Empire was pissed, that they wanted revenge because they destroyed their super weapon. And so that leads into that. It also gives our heroes, a chance of, it sends Han and Luke and even Chewbacca and them further as leaders, as pivotal characters within the fight against the Empire. So that right there was a great ending for them defeating the Empire at that moment. Like, it wasn't a full defeat. They destroyed the Death Star. And then part 2, basically, or the next movie, was now the Empire is coming back for revenge. And so nothing of that was out of sync with each other. And Dilly Squat says, I think Screen Rant must be glassed. The Nathaniel, basically, like I said, he did his research, but only to support Disney Star Wars, and that George didn't know what he was doing. That's it. That's all. And it's bullshit. It was like a Battlefield promotion type deal, correct? Soul Assassin says, no, what I think? The holidays must suck for the Solos. Both have no extended families except Luke, and must get boring. Oh my God. Oh man, and you have to go into that. Well, as the family grew, they all had each other, and then the kids came along, and then they had, what's that one from? There's an image. Let me go ahead and find it, since we still got like 15 minutes of time here. Solo Skywalker family dinner. Okay. Let's see here. Images. Okay. Come on now. Open up for me. It had to come up on Reddit. Oh, well. I'm going to share this with you since we're coming into the holidays, into the feasting of, like for Americans here, we're coming into Thanksgiving. Let me go ahead and close some of these out. Stop screen. Stop screen. Let me see if this will remove finally. All right. And I'm going to share this with you because I think this is something that's fun. And I always share this around this time of year. So here we go. All right, here we go. Here's the dinner. The Solo Skywalker dinner. This is about 40 ABY. Excuse me. So here we have Leia. We have Luke, we have Han, and I know exactly where this comes from, this little speech that Han is, and this is from Betrayal, from Legacy of the Force, when they're all having dinner with each other. And then you have Ben and Mara Jade, R2-D2, Zek, Jason, and Jaina. And so it's the argument that Han and Luke are having about the state of the galaxy, pertaining to Corellia. So there you go. It's funny how I know this stuff, right? It's funny how I know all this stuff. Let's see. So this is very fun. Screen Rant doesn't know what they are talking about, as always. Well, they do know in a sense. Their thing is about praising and uplifting Disney, Star Wars, so that people will continue to think that Disney, Star Wars is good, is correcting things that George left behind, that George didn't do anything or didn't know any better kind of deal. So this is what this is about. This is changing people's minds and perspectives about the past Star Wars before the buyout, and that the new stuff is better. That's exactly what's going on with these pop culture, quote unquote, journal sites, news sites, or whatever you want to call them. And we've been talking about this. I have, as well as my comrades on the Spacing, has been talking about this not only with Star Wars, but with other franchises. So it's about changing your perspective on the old so that you can see the new as better. So there we go. And where is this image? I will share it with you guys. This image, I think, came out of this book, in which I want to get into. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to recommend a read. Okay, so before I recommend a read, because I want this to be I'm going to take the majority vote. Which era do you guys mostly prefer? And I'm going to go with the PT, the OT, which is the classical or the Dark Times era, New Republic, or New Jedi Order. So those four. So PT, OT, New Republic, that's RP, or New Jedi Order. So we have time. I should have put this on vote. I should go on my phone and do it on vote real quick. So there's that. Don't reply just yet. Let me go ahead and put it on the poll. I haven't done a poll in a long time. So let me go ahead and do that real quick. Don't vote. Just keep your vote in your mind, and we'll get that here. And then I want to recommend a book. I want to start recommending books, or at least talking about one book, and go from there. Because I think it's very to not only talk about the lore, keeping the lore in front of you, but maybe also recommending a book, and all that. So let me go ahead and get this up for you guys. Oh crap, I'm gonna have to, is it gonna let me do a poll off my phone? No, it's not. You suck. So let me go ahead, and if you hear me talking, sorry, I'm gonna have to go on the computer and do it, and I can't, I have to quickly pause the volume here. So keep that in mind, because I want to recommend a book for you guys to look into. There we go. All right, so here, let's get to the poll. Come on, dude. There we go. All right, so I'm making it right now. So keep that in mind. Start a poll. PT, OT, New Republic is NR, and of course, New Jedi Order. Now, of course, if it's New Jedi Order, I'm automatically gonna have you do Vector Prime. Let's see here. So which era? Let's see here. So which era? Okay. Okay, go ahead. Do it. Vote. It's up. Do it. Do it. Run! Oh no, she's given homework now. Run. Well, look at, okay, you can't see me right now. Let me move my image here. I just need my ruler and all that, right? I have a side bun. I should have a big bun on the head. I should have a nice blouse with a bow tie on, and stuff. Have that teacher look. Let's see here. So go ahead and get your vote casted. We're going to run it for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to end it. So whatever one is the winner will be the recommendation. Of course, New Jedi Order would be Vector Prime. That's a given. So, but usually I will have you vote maybe with, or not vote, read maybe with a more popular book that is easy to digest. Oh my God. Oh my God. What do I choose? Which one do you like the best? Which one do you like the best? Now I didn't put legacy in there because we only have 4 to use as the poll. But I figured the ones that are most known are those eras. Maybe not so much New Jedi Order, but when we get into the PT time frame, the OT time frame, and the New Republic, those are the ones that are mostly known. But New Republic is thrown in there because that happens after. So a lot of people know that because of the fact that it's not the Empire that they're fighting against. It's a new threat. I like all the Star Wars. I do too. I do too. So it's hard to decide. It's hard to decide. It's definitely hard to decide. Okay. I like all the Star Wars. I like it all. Yep. Let's see here. Okay, why isn't my poll showing up on this screen here? I want to start Rebecca. There, let's see here. I'm about to go back to my window on that. YouTube. So you still have 4 minutes to go, you guys. And with that being said, is there any short stories, any come on now. Is there any short stories that you want to know about in any era as well? I mean, you don't have to tell me now. Keep that in mind and thought, because like I said, I'm open to introduce and talk about, stories that maybe we don't normally see a lot because it's not a popular novel as well. Is there any comics? Because it doesn't have to be novels. It can be the comics of that time frame. Like the PT, the Republic comics. Oh, hell yeah. Those are amazing. New Jedi Order comics are not so amazing. So those are a very big hit and miss kind of things. I would recommend the novels before the comics. So far we have PT 57, OT no one, and New Republic 29, and New Jedi Order 14. So we still have a few minutes to go on this. So get your votes in, you guys. Get your votes in. I definitely got to go with the PT. The Phantom Menace made me fun. It made me a fan forever, and it's my number 2 movie. Okay. Awesome. So let's see here. OT, no one? I'm surprised. I know we just got to talking about the OT too. The Star Wars A New Hope. That's crazy. I was kind of thinking, well, maybe they will, pick that, but maybe not. Let's see here. What else? The New Republic era. Like a nice one, if you really want to see the solo kids grow up and the new generation of Jedi, then the Young Jedi Knights is one of the series that I highly recommend. And that's one there. And another young readers series, if you like the PT era. No. Well, actually, it is OT. It's the Dark Times. Is The Last of the Jedi is one if you want to know exactly, what happened with Obi-Wan and what's going on during that time frame with Bell and stuff like that, and why Obi-Wan had to leave Tatooine, which was not even a year into him going to Tatooine. So the Kenobi book, he's on Tatooine, he settles down, and after those events, the Last of the Jedi occur. And there's a reason why he has to leave Tatooine, and it's more in sync with what is expected of him to do than the Obi-Wan Kenobi series from Disney. That one was a total abomination to the lore, to the character, to Darth Vader. There's countless evidence that there wasn't supposed to be any other duels other than what we see in the movies. And George is very specific about that people tend to miss. And just because, the movies didn't say, the movies alluded to it, the novels shared that their only fight was Mustafar before Death Star. And then George and even Hayden and Ewan McGregor even stated that their only conflict was in the movies, nothing in between, which makes it pivotal between the two because you have 19 years of them not seeing each other. That pent-up anger that Vader has against Obi-Wan, that sorrowful remorse Ben had for, for Anakin and Vader, and his regrets and stuff like that. So you have all these emotions playing within that, but also knowing that he is now, has trained and helped Luke be the successor to defeat the evil of Vader and Palpatine and stuff like that. So yeah, so that Obi-Wan Kenobi movie or series really destroys the lore and what George intended. So, but that's just how I feel about that as someone that really looks at continuity in the history of Star Wars and the intention that the creator wanted of the stories. So let's see here. All right, now that I ranted here, let me go ahead and see. You guys, I'm going to go check out the poll. If you did not get the vote in, you get that vote in right now. I'm reading it off. By the time I'm done reading it, I'm closing it down. PT 57%, New Republic 29%, and New Jedi Order 14%. I'm ending the poll. Thank you guys for voting. So it looks like the PT era is the one that people want to, look and read into the most. So I'm going to go ahead. This is not homework in the sense where I'm expecting you to read and we're going to talk about it next, like a book review, but I'm just recommending from that era. So I'm going to look in here. Now I can easily say Darth Plagueis, but I am not going to. So let's see here. What am I going to recommend? Excuse me. Making sure I'm in the right track here. This is a tough one. Oh, come on. Shatterpoint's another fun one. But I'm not going to recommend that. I don't know. This is a tough one. Let's see here. How about Darth Maul Shadowhunter? Darth Maul Shadowhunter. So you can look it up. You can research it. If you have this, you can read about it in here. It's summarized in here. If you have the book, pick it up. I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to say who's reading. If you guys aren't, that's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings. But I wanted to give you guys something to look forward to, look into, do while we start going into wintertime. Wintertime usually is a time where people start slowing down and it's darker, longer because of the stupid time change. And so having that extra time to sit and read or research or get into a storyline is amazing. And yes, and here's the Audible book. So you can get the Audible on YouTube and listen to it. You can get it on Audible with and listen to it there. So there's so many resources. So if you can't sit down and read in full, then listening to it or even listening is, amazing. I don't know why it's not highlighting. Anyway, so Soul Assassin shared it in the chat. Highlight the link, copy it onto your browser and save it. And there's part 1 and part 2. So there you go. I need to start recommending more books to pick up. So for the winter time, for the next 2 months, if you choose to take this and read, feel free to do it. If you're not, you're like, I don't have time or I'm not interested in Darth Maul, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. But this is what I'm recommending for the next 2 months leading into January. Picking it up. I may revisit it. I haven't revisited it. I was never a Darth Maul fan. I loved his arc and his purpose in The Phantom Menace. I think it was a big mistake to bring him back. So I was never a big fan. But after I was recommended to read it by Steve Kenobi, or Stieg, and I'll give credit where credit's due. I picked that up and I had a newfound appreciation for Darth Maul. However, that didn't change my mind that I still think that he shouldn't have been brought back. Because I don't believe that he should have been brought back. But that's another story to discuss at a later time. So there you guys go. Let me know keep me informed either here on YouTube, here in or on Twitter community chat that you decided to pick up the book and read it. And, you know, you can create a discussion. I'm happy to discuss it with you as you read along, as you go along with it. It's a very awesome and interesting story. He is ruthless in this here, which I think that this is one of his better stories. His stories after his survival doesn't compare to this. And I'll say that. It doesn't compare to this. So I recommend this book. So Diddley Squat says, I listened to Shadowhunter not long ago. The ending made me laugh so much. Yeah, that's a good one, right? I have Shadowhunter. I was just about to read that after Cloak of Deception. Awesome. Man, I'm good at doing this when people are like, hey, I was thinking about this book. I'm always good at like being on the same wavelength with people. It's kind of eerie. And its ending was somewhat funny, if I recall correctly. Yes, it was a good ending. Less is more with Maul. I agree, Soul Assassin. Gordon says, Plagueis novel, Lucino retcon Maul's origins and species due to Filoni. Yeah, I know, he had to. But what's funny about that is like, it was very dry and then never again. So it's Lucino didn't want, it's like you have the impression that Lucino didn't want to do that retcon when you read that part. And come on, he fought the Vong before barehanded, and without the Force, Maul was more powerful than people think, hence why Kenobi's victory has more meaning. Yes. Like I said, Soul Assassin, you know, I loved his purpose for the movies. He wasn't like someone that I really was interested in until, you know, I was convinced to read, you know, Shadowhunter. So I have a now newfound appreciation. Plagueis had a handful of canon continuity contradictions. Yeah, because of the fact that, you know, at the time, like, let's try to tie in some TCW, blah, 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 blah. Diddley Squat says, Maul works as a Jedi hunter killer. What was done with him since 2008 was a big mistake. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree on that. So you guys, there you go. Darth Maul, Shadowhunter. For the next 2 months, if you choose to pick it up and read, let's create a conversation. Let this be our ongoing conversation here in the community page. And I'll post it here on the community page on YouTube and my Twitter community page on Twitter. I have like 20-some pending people I have to research and approve to be a part of that community. Or on that waiting to be added, I will get you added. So let's have that be our conversation for the next couple of months. Yeah, Palpatine had his ashes in his office. Yes, he did. That was amazing. So there you guys go. Shadowhunter. Let's create a conversation with that. Pick it up if you choose. And let's talk more lore regarding that. You know, we're in the PT era with that. And next Caf Chat, not this Thursday, maybe Wednesday, I might say, hey, how's that going for you? If you guys haven't picked it up, that's fine. I just want you guys to start picking up and reading more and more about the original lore to keep your guys' love and interest of Star Wars alive, that you don't succumb to this grief and this pain and this whatever, all these emotions and this disconnect from Star Wars because of what Disney is doing with it. So I want to keep that front and center with you, and putting a book in front of you guys is one thing that will help. Yeah, so thank you guys again. Yes, you know, there's a method to my madness. So Caf Chat, all my quirkiness, and finally that highlights. That's funny. And I shall talk with you guys later. Again, it's to be announced. I'm not set if we're going to come here Wednesday to just discuss books and stuff. I think I want to do that. So stay tuned for that. I will announce a yay or nay with that here pretty soon. So you guys have a good day. And may the Force be with you.
Prepare yourself for Star Wars, Shadows of the Empire. The evil Empire has struck back with a vengeance, and a new villain, the crime lord Shizor, schemes to replace Darth Vader as the Emperor's second in command. With Han Solo held frozen in carbonite by bounty hunter Boba Fett, it's the rebellion's darkest hour. Now, join Jedi warrior Luke Skywalker, hard-charging Chewbacca, and go undercover with heroic pilot Dash Rendar and his booming Outrider. But can Han Solo be freed and Shizor be stopped? Star Wars, Shadows of the Empire. Look for the authentic figures and vehicles from Kenner.
Step forward, Padawan. Anakin Skywalker, by the right of the Council, by the will of the Force, doubly I do, Jedi. Knight of the Republic.
Another happy landing.